In our next tutorial, we will show you how to edit the contact page on your website. Upon logging in and being greeted with your dashboard, we will use the mouse cursor to highlight pages, and we will select all pages. Next, we will locate the Contact Us page, and we will select Edit with Elementor. We will then allow the page to load fully before we continue. As you can see, the page is loaded, and just like the previous tutorials, we will use our mouse cursor to navigate across the site and highlight the sections or elements we wish to edit. There we can choose to edit the top section, and the window on the left hand side will let us change the layout settings, including the column width, column gap, height, vertical alignment, overflow, and so forth. The parallax and particles we can ignore, as this has already been set up. Our structure again we can also ignore, and we can move on to our style section. Here we can choose to edit the background, where we can change the background color as well as the image. We can also change the positioning of the image, the attachment, the repeat options, and the size. Moving on to the background overlay, we can choose to change the color as well as add an image and the transparency strength. Moving on, we can choose to add a border, which again will apply only to the section we are editing, as well as a border that will come into effect upon hovering. Moving forward, again we have our shape divider, which we can insert either to the top or to the bottom of the section. Lastly, in the typography section, you can ignore this as we have already set it up for you. As well as the advanced tab, you do not need to worry about this as it is set up for you. Moving away from the section, we can edit a column by doing the same. We will select the edit button, and we can change the layout settings, including the width, alignment, and widget spacing. In the style settings, we have the same as before. We have our background, where we can choose a color or an image. We have our background overlay, which is the same. We can choose a color or an image. And we have our border, which we are able to add. We're also able to add it to be only applied to a hover effect. And our typography, again, you can ignore as we have set this up already. Again, the advanced tab, you do not need to worry about. Moving away from the column, we will now edit a widget. By simply using the mouse cursor, we can highlight a widget we wish to edit. As you can see, it will give us the steps on what to do. Here we can choose to change the email address, as seen here, as well as the icon. We can also choose to change the location of this, as seen here. We're also able to add a link which applies to the full width of the section, or in this case the list. In our styling section, we can change the spaces between, as well as the alignment, and we can choose to add a divider. In the icon section, we can change the color of the icon. We can also choose the hover color, the size, and the alignment. In the text section, here we can change the color of the text, the color of the hover text, and the typography, which includes the family font, the size, weight, and so forth. Moving on, we will simply use our mouse cursor to highlight a section we wish to edit, and we will simply edit it. As you can see here, all changes are made live, and we can see them happen. Once we are happy, we will simply select Update. That is how you would edit the contact page on your website.